Morning, everybody. This is Cassidy Ellis, Local Governments Program Manager at SPEAR. Welcome to our November City Efficiency Leadership Council webinar. Really excited about the topic this month. We have Katelynn Essig with Foundation Communities, who's going to share the really impressive work that they're doing with their affordable housing communities around energy and sustainability, including engagement with their residents. So really happy to have Katelynn here today. As usual, I'm gonna start with a couple announcements if I can advance my slide. There we go. So for those of you who are new to these webinars, City Efficiency Leadership Council is a program of the State Energy Conservation Office, and we're focused on sharing of information and resources around energy management best practices, but also expanded into areas of affordability, climate, resilience, kind of the array of topics in the energy world and buildings. We have a number of resources listed here on the slide. If you would like more information, please reach out to me. There will be a follow-up email with all of this information. And then we also have some events coming up that are another great way to get engaged. So with that, announcements. We have our next round of City Efficiency Leadership Council regional roundtables. As opposed to the format in previous cycles where I have a different topic at each of the 3 regions, I thought I would have the same conversation, same topic for all 3 of our upcoming regional roundtables. And just piling to see if we have kind of a different conversation in each area and if we have a deeper conversation. So we are going to have a speaker come talk to us about the Texas Public Utility Commission and what it is, how it works, how energy policy is made through the body and through the commission, and how local governments interface with it. Please keep in mind, these are for public sector folks. And if you are a service provider or a vendor, just keep in mind that these are only open to our public sector partners. Our next one is our North Central meeting. It will be on December 1st, which is the Tuesday after Thanksgiving, Gulf Coast the week after that, and then a Central Texas one in January. Regardless of where you are in the state, feel free to join us for any of them or all of them for that matter. But there will be a slight regional focus for the 3 meetings. On December 2nd, which is the Wednesday after Thanksgiving, the Energy Services Coalition, which is a energy savings performance contract focused energy or industry group, is having our chapter meeting, again, virtually. And those are also open to anyone, regardless of if you're a member or not. So if you're interested in learning more about performance contracting or wanting to make better connections with the industry, that's a great organization and meeting to attend. This information will also be sent out in a follow-up email, so you will have this available. For local governments located in 41 affected counties, there is a local government and state agency reporting requirement in statute. I won't go into the details too much, but for those of you who know what I'm talking about, just to let you know, those reports for local governments and counties will be due in February to cover the calendar year 2020. And we are expecting the new form and a FAQ document to be released in December. So keep an eye out for that. If you are here for, or if you would like to receive ICC CEUs for attending this session, make sure and fill out the feedback survey that will go out after the webinar, and I will get those to you probably by the end of tomorrow, if not on Monday. If you have any other announcements or questions, please put those in the chat box. This will be recorded and posted to our YouTube channel, so don't worry about that. Okay, so with that, Really happy to have Katelynn Essig join us today. Katelynn and I served on the Austin Climate Equity Plan Advisory Group for the Sustainable Buildings team. And I have learned and come to appreciate so much of the work that Foundation Communities is doing in Austin and beyond around affordable housing. It's a really impressive model, and really excited to have her share their experience and their work today, and hope we can have a lot of great conversation and questions at the end. So with that, Katelynn, I will turn it over to you.
Thank you, Cassidy, and good morning, everyone. Thanks for joining me today as we talk about Foundation Communities a little bit more. So I'm gonna get my screen share. All right. Oh, there we go. So just to give a little preview about what I'm going to be talking about today. So first, I'm going to tell you a little bit more about who we are at Foundation Communities. I'm going to go over some of our sustainability goals and standards. Then I'm going to talk about our sustainable design in new construction, which is the pretty picture that you can see there. And then sustainable design from an existing properties perspective as well. And then I'm going to talk about some green building operations and maintenance that we do across our entire portfolio. And then I'm going to kind of end with, on a bright note, with sustainability in general and what our resident education looks like. So who are we? Well, we are an Austin-based affordable housing nonprofit that started 30 years ago this year. We provide high quality, affordable apartments, and we have 2 duplex properties as well. So we provide support services right at our residents' doorsteps. Currently, and we have a new property opening in just a couple of weeks, so we have 25 properties in total. We have 22 in Austin and 3 in North Texas. Our North Texas properties are in Arlington, 2 in Arlington and 1 in Carrollton. So our model, just a little bit more about it, is a housing and services model. So we obviously provide housing, but we want to provide the services to make our residents have a successful trajectory going beyond just living with us. And so we provide education, financial stability support, and health initiative support as well. And the way that our properties are broken down, we have single adult properties and multifamily properties. So the way that that's broken down, we have 7 single adult properties, and the rest are multifamily properties. At our single adult properties, we provide, we have case managers on site. We have 24-hour staff there all of the time. And these are folks that are just single adults who may be coming out of homelessness, maybe coming out of long-term prison sentences, maybe on long-term disability. But our goal is with our single adults is to provide a long-term housing solution for these residents. So many of them move in and, haven't moved out for many, many years. And, we're okay with that. And then our multifamily properties. So we also provide housing to families coming out of homelessness. And then we have learning centers on site, which is what y'all are looking at right here in this picture. And the learning centers are community centers on site, but their main focus and their main purpose is to provide after school care and education to the kids that live at the property. And then also any kind of community events. So we have food pantries that are on site once a month. They have exercise classes, and basically, just providing an additional space to really create that community space at our properties. And in addition to all of our affordable housing that we do, we also have 2 Prosper centers in Austin, in North and South Austin. These were used to be called financial centers, but as you can see here, we kind of offer more than just financial support. So we provide college assistance. Basically, anyone can come in and get help with their college process or whatever has happened. We have staff there to help. Financial assistance. So we offer free tax prep or W-2 prep, and then also healthcare support. So we offer and we help folks sign up for the Affordable Care Act, which just started a couple of weeks ago. And again, we use those spaces similar to how the learning centers are at the multifamily properties, and just providing a community space for people to come get the help that they need to really thrive. Oh, and you know what? I have a video that I'm going to share now. So to put this, put a visual on it, I'm going to share this video.
Foundation communities provides that stepping stone to get back on your feet again.
This is my home, and I enjoy my life here. I'm grateful, so grateful.
I absolutely love that I can live in the city that I want to live in.
Hi, welcome to my home. It's compact, but it's very efficient. This is my breakfast bar. This is my bedroom, my large and lovely living room. And this is the place for my family pictures.
I love it here. It's just a great opportunity for people just starting out, especially. I'm very lucky to have the opportunity to stay here.
My apartment's perfect for me, and I've set it up so that it feels like my own little design studio, my own little piano space, my own little dance space. And this place has allowed me to maintain my creative ability.
I just love it. The people that live here, these are nice people.
I'm thrilled. I think of this place as my home.
If it were not for Bluebonnet and Foundation Communities, I don't know where I would be. And that is the truth. And that comes to you from my heart. Thank you. Thank you.
When I first came here, it was so beautiful. So I didn't think that I would be able to live here.
Look at this place. It looks like a beautiful, beautiful home.
Hi, welcome to my house. This is my kitchen, my guest bedroom. As you can see, I love red. I collect snow globes. This is my living room. Every doorway in every room is wide. My bedroom and the handicapped bathroom.
Cardinal Point has a playground. My son loves it. They have a soccer field where he loves to run.
You know, we got our own basketball court, a learning center.
The Learning Center helped me make good grades. I love the Learning Center.
This is our beautiful kitchen. This is our family room where we play games and dance, right?
I like it.
This is my room, and this is Katelynn's room where all the fun happens.
At Zumba, I get a chance to work out and meet friends.
I love the way the community looks. It's beautiful. We have trees, we have beautiful red flowers. It's a beautifully landscaped facility.
Cardinal Point is clean. Everybody over here is so friendly. It's a really beautiful place, and it's ours, our place to call home. I love it so much. I love being here.
This year we opened Cardinal Point, and next year we will open the Jordan at Mule.
All right, get some pump up music to start this early Thursday morning presentation. It is always great to watch that video, and yeah, I'm very proud to work at FC. So I'm gonna dive right into our sustainability stuff. So our outlook in sustainability. So we are building beautiful homes and properties because we are going to be forever owners of our communities. and we never plan to sell. We want to be good stewards of our natural resources and materials. We really have a focus on healthy indoor air quality, which I'll talk more about. And we also appreciate the positive impact to our bottom line that I'll talk a little bit more about as well. But yeah, in general, we just believe that developing sustainably is just the right thing to do. So what do our sustainability goals look like? So as an organization, we have sustainability goals that span lots of departments. Most specifically, though, they kind of land in the development side. So we have a development team, and then there's also me and the sustainability team. And I've actually focused more on the operations and maintenance of the properties. I'll explain that a little bit more whenever we go through, but these are sort of our 4 goals are related to sustainability. And as you can imagine, there's a lot within each of them. But we build green for efficiency and resilience. And then on my side of the work is decreasing our energy and water consumption by 2% each year from a 2013 baseline. And then we want to own and operate 1.5 megawatts of solar by 2022. And we're very close. I'll show you a graph here soon. And then to engage with every resident and staff at least once a year, because we can do all of these great things, but if we don't have buy-in from our staff and residents and feel like they are participating, then none of this would really work. So from the design and new construction piece, so we, generally follow the basic principles of green building and green design when we're purchasing land. But as you can probably imagine, here in Austin, land is really hard to get. So we're also kind of limited on where and when we can do this based off of where we can purchase. And I'll kind of show you a little bit about how it works for receiving tax credits. Specifically, whenever we're thinking about tax credits, we have a 2-mile radius where we cannot be close to another tax credit property. So in the city of Austin, it can make it difficult to find a piece of property that works. But in general, for this design, new construction, we're thinking about connectivity, making sure that our residents can easily access public transportation. Our design approach is very integrated. We strive to get green building certification. So Austin Energy has their own green building certification. And then typically we do our US Green Building Council LEED certifications as well. And then we have also pursued Energy Star certifications, Enterprise Green Community certifications. It really just kind of depends on the project, but at the end of the day, we are trying to, be the most efficient that we possibly can. And then within construction, so we're seeing these through until they are built and in operating mode. And so we focus a lot on commissioning and having enough funding available at the end to be able to fix any issues that may arise. And they have definitely, we have definitely had issues with our pretty new green buildings. So this is just a map of the affordable housing scoring in Austin specifically. And so the tax credits in affordable housing, if you've heard of affordable housing, you've probably heard the word tax credits at least once or twice, but federal tax credits are the main chunk of funding that we get to build our properties. And so there is specific scoring that we have to abide by, or we try to get as many points as we possibly can so that our score is really high for those federal tax credit scores. And then we also have a set for the city of Austin. And so the city of Austin and green building specifically has more sustainability features and opportunity to get points. As you can kind of see, the difference in those kinds of scorings. But the map over here is the kind of high scoring areas for the city of Austin. And so as you can see, Austin is much bigger than the places that are in blue there. And so, yeah, it really puts us in a tough spot and hard spot to select sites. So because of that, we are always 4 or 5 years ahead of finding land, and we have full-time staff that's all their job is to find land and purchase it if we can, or keep an eye on it, or go talk to the owner, whatever that process looks like. But we are always trying to be ahead of the game so that we can scoop up a piece of property. So how do we afford green building certificates and green building in general? So as you guys saw in the video, we have less high-end amenities. So we don't have fitness centers or pools, fire pits, none of those more expensive things to install. And in turn, we're building more offices for our case managers on site. We have learning centers, which is the picture in the bottom right-hand corner. We have to make space for food pantries and more offices for financial coaching. So, we're able to kind of move the money around to make it work for us and for our residents, really. And then it's just built into our model. So we have a LEED Platinum building that just turned 10 years old this year. So, we have been doing LEED certifications and going green in our green building for a long time. And so at this point, it just we've been doing it for so long, we've learned so much, and we continue to learn from the ups and downs of that process, that it really makes, the longer we do it, the more efficient and better we are at it. And then we get money. So, because we pursue green building, we are very competitive for various sources of development funds because we are promising to do green building. But as you can imagine, we need to access more of those same funds to cover the extra costs of green building, as well as the certification of itself. But for example, our federal home loan that we get, they give us $1 million for pursuing a minimum standard of LEED Gold. So, we've talked about, oh, maybe we shouldn't do them. But then when we, are able to get a lot of money to still pursue it, it really ends up working out well for us. So how does green building work and make an impact in affordable housing? So I kind of broke this out sort of in the bigger scope of things, especially in Texas, and then sort of how this can affect us internally as an organization. So the first one is really on the macro scale, which is the qualified allocation plan. And so the QAP is basically the checklist and the tax credit scoring checklist that everyone has to go through in every state. And so what we do as an organization, and since we've been doing green housing for such a long time, we are pushing during that QAP process to add basic and affordable design pieces pertaining to sustainability. So that includes low flow toilets, shower heads, Energy Star appliances, anything that is a low hanging fruit. We're always trying to talk with the state of Texas to try and kind of push some more green aspects in that checklist so that more organizations across the entire state are, more inclined to pursue green building because they can get more points up for it. And then internally on the micro scale for foundation communities, we are able to utilize green building in the utility allowance model. So utility allowances help us figure out how much we think residents will be able to pay in utilities each month. And so the way that this works is that, when someone comes into an affordable housing organization, only 30% of their income can go towards rent and utilities. So we know that green building reduces utilities. And so when we're able to reduce that utility consumption a little bit, we can increase the rent a little bit. So that means that we have just a few more bucks going into our pocket and less going into the utilities, all while still maintaining that 30% of income. So there are numerous ways to do this, and each year it gets complicated, but basically, we are able to take the actual use, which is the actual amount of consumption that our residents are consuming, show that to the state of Texas, and then they can say, okay, we've reviewed your data. It's clear that, your green building has reduced the utilities by this much, and they will edit those utility allowances. We don't do this at every single property. It really just kind of depends. And, as you can imagine, we're 25 years old. Basically every property is different, but it does really help to have just, to be able to see how this works from the green building specifically. All right, so after we do our design, we move into our operations. And basically what happens is, since I sit on the asset management team, we, about 6 months towards the end of construction, we kind of start the process of taking over the building. And so it really helps because we can be there during the end for when anything might come up. We're able to go through the property and make sure everything's done correctly. We do owner training, so everything that is major from HVAC to solar, we do owner trainings with the installers and the companies. And then, we are just able to be eyes and ears during construction. So it just really makes for a smooth transition into operations. And then, once it fully makes its way over to operations, these are just sort of the few things that we do as asset management. So sustainability is a key thing in providing continued green operations and continued training, maintenance, safety, making sure that, our properties are performing financially well. And, just always kind of thinking about smart growth and, these newer buildings have new systems, which can be very complex for our staff that are going to be maintenance on site. And so it's our job to make sure that they get the correct training that they need so that they can properly manage the property. So this is just a little snapshot of the Jordan, since it was the end of the video. The kids were welcoming the kids for the Jordan. So the Jordan just opened in January, and right before the pandemic, in the Miller redevelopment, so where the old airport is in Austin. And it is 132 units, 1, 2, and 3 bedrooms. I think we got our certifications. I don't know for sure. I don't remember, but we got Austin Energy Green Building 4-star, and I think we ended up getting LEED Platinum certification. But we were expected to see a 31% reduction in energy from the kind of typical baseline for a building, a multifamily building, and 42% reduction in water consumption, which is pretty significant. And then our rents. So everyone always likes to ask what our rent is. So our rents there range from $480 a month up to $1,300. And then comparing that to the average rent in Miller, it's expensive, beautiful place to live, $1,100 to $2,200 a month. So yeah, that $1,300, is still pricey, but it is a large 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom apartment. And I will show you our picture. So this is not the most recent picture, but we we did just install solar. So I was hoping to get the picture with the solar on the roof, but I did not get that in time. But the Miller development, for those of you who are not familiar with it, it is a LEED certified neighborhood. So the whole neighborhood has to abide by LEED specific criteria as well. And the water tower that is behind the property actually holds purple pipe water, and that is what feeds our irrigation on the property. All right, so moving into existing properties. So these are sort of the way that we do sustainability in existing properties. And yeah, we really are, like I said, focused on our staff and residents. We prioritize and have set standards for operations and maintenance. We have some compliance that each property has to abide by. We prioritize larger retrofits ahead of time. And then we take advantage of nearly every Austin Energy incentive program. So staff education. So staff education, we started this first one here that you're looking at about 10 years ago. And the National Affordable Housing Management Association has a certified green property manager training. Talk about an acronym. But it is a 16-hour training for any new property manager and maintenance lead. So this is a training that we actually do in-house. So it's a training that we do on my team. And we just kind of go over the basics. So, you know, we're talking about sustainability, of course, but we'll also review utility bills. We'll talk about energy and water a bit more. They have to calculate their energy use index and water index. They also have to do a payback exercise for a utility or for an LED retrofit. And then they also get training on our utility benchmarking platform, which I'll talk more about. And then the last thing here is a Home Depot scavenger hunt, which I felt like I just had to add because they do this at the end of the first day. They go to Home Depot and they have a checklist, and they actually have to go look for the Energy Star dishwasher, look for the LED light bulbs, look for the low flow shower head. And they run around in teams and have to take pictures. And so, you know, when we're kind of talking about these abstract things to some of them, especially depending on who they worked and where they worked beforehand, oftentimes this is kind of the first time that they're thinking about sustainability and property management. So it really helps to break down the barriers, and then they get to go run around Home Depot and actually see everything that we're talking about. So it's a fun couple of days, and I think they always really enjoy it. Also to like get out of the office. And also with this, so this is a credential. So the people who have this, they get to add the CGPM at the end of their name and their signature. So once the staff get it, they really take pride in it. They get to, you know, a lot of property managers have it behind them on their wall in their office. And then they also do we also have to provide 4 hours of retraining each year. So, you know, in total, we've got 60 full-time staff that do the 4 hours each year. And we also do that in-house. So our set standards for operations and maintenance. So we have a sustainability chapter in our operations and maintenance manual. Specifically, this is several pages, and so I just tried to pull out things that came to mind, but it's very extensive on purpose so that if staff have questions or concerns, they know what they need to purchase and where to purchase it. So just a few things here, you know, we direct them to what Energy Star appliances, LED lighting, what low flow toilets to buy, faucet aerators, solar shading. And then these last two here, you know, we're trying to get folks to do, zero VOC paint, formaldehyde-free cabinets when they have to replace cabinets, and then replace carpet with tile. So ensuring compliance. So we have this has been a work in progress, but we do yearly green property walks with every single property manager and maintenance lead. We do utility benchmarking. So that's kind of where my job comes in. Mostly I do that for the whole portfolio. And again, like I'd said before, making sure that we do that continuing education so that staffers kind of always learning about sustainability. So this is just a snapshot. I don't know how well you guys can see this, but this is our green property walk self-inspection checklist. And sorry about that. And as you can see, they have to do this for every single room in the property. So they have to walk, and it takes a couple of hours to go through and do this, but everything from thermostats to energy efficient lighting. We have only specific Oracacia essential oil air fresheners that can be used. And then even all the way down to blue recycling bins, making sure that they're next to every landfill bin and making sure that they have the right recycling signage. So depending on the property, they have a lot of common areas, especially at the single adult properties. And then, all the properties have a mail place. So they even have to check to make sure that they have a recycling bin where the mail is. And yeah, we just kind of fit a wide swath of things into this checklist. And then we spend, after they complete the checklist, then we go to the property and do a 2-hour walk with them and really walk through all of the things so that, it's really not to see if they missed anything. It's more about making sure that we know what they're talking about in the notes that they make. All right, and utility benchmarking. So we've been utility benchmarking for about 10 years now. That's how old the sustainability department was. And we actually started the sustainability department because we were doing a retrofit of an old hotel into a single adult property. So we needed someone to manage that green property. Or that process, that retrofit. And then I think, after that success, it just kind of felt right and just made sense really to expand this out to the whole portfolio and really make a department out of it. So now, 10 years later, we get resident consumption from Austin Energy once a year. And so that's really to look at our whole building data, which is always the goal. And the residents are a part of our reduction goals. So when I was talking about our 2% each year, that includes our residents as well. And then of course, we're reporting out to our board. We are a partner of the Department of Energy Better Buildings Challenge, and also utilize energy scorecards. So energy scorecards is our utility benchmarking service that is specific to multifamily, or has more multifamily users, and they actually will utilize and put all of the data into Energy Star Portfolio Manager for me. And then it gets pushed to the City of Austin and their energy conservation audit disclosure, ECAD ordinance compliance. So this piece here has probably, takes up most of my time, but there are a lot of partners in the Better Buildings Challenge, as some of you may know, and it really just creates a great space to go be able to learn and talk about this utility benchmarking more and, everything else that we're doing. This is really kind of like the top tier. And, we've been able to really reach our goals with closely monitoring all of our utilities, which I'm going to show you now. So before I get to really where we're at in our goals, I wanted to show you sort of a day in the life of utility benchmarking at foundation communities. So I created this slide actually during our sustainable buildings advisory group for the climate equity plan. And basically, you know, we wanted to know as an organization how our buildings are performing and how they are performing compared to our older buildings. So Arbor Terrace on the left here is a rehab hotel that was built in 2002. And on the right, we have Capitol Studios, which is the beautiful building just like diagonally across from the Capitol downtown Austin, and is a LEED Platinum building that was built in 2015. And so, you know, as we were thinking about the newest property that's opening in just a couple of weeks, you know, we had major concerns about our HVAC systems and the long-term operations and maintenance of the buildings. And so this number right here is our energy use index, or the amount of energy that's used per square foot per year. And as you can see, our Arbor Terrace rehab building has a 41 and an A, and our Capitol Studios is a 47 and is a B. So, you know, that is quite telling when we're thinking about how we're going to design our buildings for longevity. And so I specifically pulled this information because at our newest property, we decided to install PTAC units, which are the old, not old, they're going to be new, but the traditionally what you see in hotels. That's the kind of AC and heat system that we decided to put into our newest property. And our main focus about that was operations and maintenance, and our maintenance staff being able to go in and know how to handle, you know, if they break, versus at Capitol Studios, we have a VRF system that's a lot more complicated, and our maintenance staff just, you know, don't know how to work on those systems. And, you know, besides that, we also at Capitol Studios had thermostats that were installed that were not great. And so they were not user friendly, and we ended up going in and replacing all of them last year. And I don't have that data up here, but we did see a small bump in energy consumption reduction at Capitol Studios just by changing out the thermostats. So, you know, all of that combined, we really are focusing and trying to challenge sort of that typical thought process to put the new and the best in a building, when at the end of the day, you know, we just want our building to be efficient and we want our maintenance to be able to work on it. And that's really what's going to work best for us. So the other thing, this is just a quick snapshot of what it's like to prioritize larger retrofits. I just chose all water retrofits just because they're the most dramatic. But these are 3 other single adult properties. And as you can see here, these are our 2013 numbers, and this is a gallons per bedroom per day. So these are single adult properties. So we, you know, can say like every unit, not totally, but every unit is using 110 gallons. Or every person is using 110 gallons of water every single day. So we did these up here, low flow toilets, shower heads, faucet aerators, and over the course of 7 years, we've been able to chop the water consumption by 60% at Skyline Terrace, 69% at Spring Terrace, and 42% at Garden Terrace. So where are we at right now? So we have seen a total energy drop for our owner paid accounts about 15%. We've seen a lot of reductions here in our electricity and gas. I will say this feels a little high though, just because we went into, you know, a pandemic. And so that number has kind of, I think because people are not in the offices as much, this is kind of a little dramatic, but and then our water consumption. So we've seen a 23% reduction in our water usage total. And then our resident and owner. So in total combined, we've had a 10% reduction, big reduction in gas, which is great, 6% in electricity, and then same with the water usage. The water usage is typically about the same because we actually pay our water bill. We pay most of our residents' water bill, or we just have master metered properties. So it makes it really easy. But in total, since 2013, this number right here is 25 million gallons of water. And then just a little bit more about Austin Energy program. So they have a multifamily affordable housing specific rebate program that we try and work with, and they're, have lots of opportunities, and we have just kind of taken advantage of pretty much everything here and there. But we did a bunch of solar screen installs several years ago. We have their thermostats that they provide, insulation, lighting. We're hoping to start an HVAC tune-up program process next year. And then solar rebates. So this is kind of how we've been able to afford the solar, is because Austin Energy has always been providing pretty substantial solar rebates for multifamily affordable housing. And then we also get rebates for installing electric vehicle charging stations that we've also done at a few properties, and are planning to expand more now that we have a state rebate that's available. And so, yes, this is very early. No, there are not any residents that we know of that are utilizing the charging stations yet. But I think with the climate equity plan and the goal, to get us into electric vehicles, we are definitely, the plan is to, once it feels like the right time, to really encourage our residents to go electric. So this is just a quick snapshot of our solar capacity. So as you can see, from 2012, we only had 137 kilowatts installed, and now we've got 1.4 megawatts installed across 15 properties. And 2 of these properties at our multifamily properties go towards, are for our residents. And we hope, in the future that we'll be able to keep providing solar to residents. So I know I'm running out of time, so I just wanted to end on a high note. Our resident benefits, these are just some pretty pictures of things that we do. We have a survey, and this is a couple of years old, but in 2018, 83% of the residents who responded to the survey said that they live a more green lifestyle after living with FC. So our health. So I kind of talked about this a little bit more, indoor air quality. Indoor air quality is one of the 4 key components that we talk about as a sustainability team. So we partner with our health initiatives team to go to health fairs, and the health fairs, people are getting their blood pressure checked and kind of getting all that, basic biometric screening for free. They also do flu shots. And so we kind of go and talk about green cleaning and healthy indoor air quality. And so as you can see here, my team is holding up baking soda and vinegar, because we're really trying to encourage residents to use baking soda and vinegar as opposed to the products that are on the table, which are not good for the indoor air. And then we also have 8 community gardens as well. And here is Michael. We just installed this garden at one of our properties. It's been a few years old now. But yeah, we made an ADA accessible bed for him so that he could garden. And then education. So I was talking about those learning centers. We provide green and healthy curriculum in those learning centers. It's a never-ending process of trying to get the kids to stay engaged, because as you can imagine, they just want a diversity of projects and things, but we always are talking about recycling, water, energy, those kinds of things. And then the picture on the right is our green package. So every new resident that moves into Foundation Communities unit they walk into their new property or their new house, and this is the products that are laid out for them. So we provide them a recycling bin and a recycling magnet. We have that bottle in the back has a recipe label on it to make their own vinegar and water solution to clean with. And they get a thermostat card for how to utilize their thermostat. And then we also get a little packet there of materials. And so it just talks more about having healthy indoor air, how to save energy, how to save water, and really kind of the importance of reduce, reuse, recycle. And the last one here is financial stability. So this was, Saving Green was initially an enterprise grant that we got like 8 years ago. And the focus was to really kind of take away from this idea that, you know, sustainability and going green is more expensive and can actually help you save money. And so the way that we have kind of turned that is going back to the indoor air quality and the green cleaning supplies by utilizing vinegar and baking soda. You know, it's not just good for indoor air quality, but it's also good for your bottom line as well. So we also have things in there for them to kind of take their total budget for paper towels and, you know, plastic plates and silverware and all that stuff, and kind of what the savings really looks like for investing in reusable items in their kitchen. So even though, you know, they may spend a few more bucks in the beginning, it can actually benefit them in the long term. So we've reached over 100 residents in the financial management courses. You know, and hopefully the goal is that we'll be able to kind of keep changing the Saving Green program so that the residents can save money. And that is it. Thank you all for listening to me. I hope that this was informative and that you enjoyed my presentation.
So I hope everyone on the call understands why I was so floored by Katelynn and Foundation Communities and just the absolutely amazing work that they're doing there. And, you know, thank you for all of your work and for doing this presentation today. We do have a lot of comments, which, you know, I feel like this is a good sign of a really great presentation. So I am going to go in order that they came through. So starting with a question about, does green building preclude natural gas usage in the developments? I asked because Texas Gas Service is working to assist in affordable housing arena and has multiple rebate programs. Thanks.
Yeah, so we, the last several buildings that we have built have been all electric. Our most recent one, which I thought I had a picture of it, but I guess I don't. It does have gas. And, you know, the way that we have been having that conversation is just like what's easily accessible to us. Those few properties, the gas lines have been hard to get to. But yeah, I think, you know, in general, we haven't had any, we're not spending a lot more money on the all electric properties. So, you know, I think that's just kind of telling of where we might go long term.
Great. Does Foundation Communities use tax credit syndicators or do they sell directly to corporate and financial buyers?
Can you say that one more time?
Does Foundation Communities use tax credit syndicators or do they sell directly to corporate and financial buyers? And Yarkis, I don't know if you want to add any more like definition or clarification.
I am not the one to answer that, unfortunately, because I just don't do enough with that team. But I am happy to get that answer and get it to you.
I will get you two connected offline. Okay, so lots of love and praise in the comments. Do you, what do you think of the ARC platform for showing building performance?
So we uploaded our properties on it. I think we're in a kind of weird place where, you know, we have properties that are not LEED certified, so it doesn't really, I think I'm still trying to figure out how it's going to work for us because, you know, Energy Scorecards has just been there for a really long time and is just kind of, we've just kind of built our model around it. But like I said, I did update all of our properties and I think I'm just kind of going to keep it there. And I'm curious to see where and how USGBC really expands that program. Because I think if it gets good enough, and it sounds like they really want to do a lot with it long term, it could be a competitor for us in terms of that sort of long-term utility benchmarking.
Great. Are your utility savings weather normalized?
Weatherized?
Weather
So
normalized.
so I don't remember what I pulled in that. So we have weather normalized and total. I think I pulled total because I like to look at that more. But because it's the real deal. But typically our weather normalized and the total are really not that far off. So I don't see a drastic difference between the two, but fortunately Energy Scorecards, it's just a really easy toggle off and on for the weather normalized.
Right. And then some requests to share some of the resources that you've developed. I might get you connected directly to the person requesting a couple things to share style survey and the green and healthy curriculum. I'm actually pretty interested in that green package information too. So yeah, and a lot of other praise. So I usually have some questions that I come to these presentations with, but I feel like your presentation is so comprehensive. I do still think it's so fascinating, the detail about deciding to use PTAX. So I know, we have a pretty diverse audience on the call, and some of you are in building technicians, building operators, or building officials, and some folks are not. So just to clarify what we're talking about, in the green building, highly efficient design development world, things like ground source heat pumps and VRFs, and there's a lot of very techy, new technology solutions for HVAC efficiency. That's really taking a hold. And what foundation communities recognized and realized is that an incumbent, more simple technology that still has a great deal of efficiency was actually the more suitable technology for their purposes, not only because it and Katelynn, correct me if I'm wrong, it still provided the efficiency while also having real benefits for operations and maintenance.
Yes, that is correct. And we coupled this with a fresh air preconditioned unit. So all of the fresh air that's coming into the unit will be preconditioned, which is going to be great for these residents.
And I think there's also a lot of questions that come to mind about how the organization is adapting to COVID, not only for residents being at home more often, but also indoor air ventilation and all of that. We only have about 1 minute. Oh, we're actually at time. So maybe that's a conversation for another day.
Well, all I can say is that, we are closely monitoring the changes in energy and water consumption, and are definitely gonna do our due diligence to make sure that our residents are taken care of with utility assistance. And then also, so my goal for the next 2 years is just to get us back to pre-COVID numbers across the board. So it's gonna take some effort, but I'm definitely very concerned and worried about what those numbers are gonna look like, despite how often residents are coming to us to ask for utility assistance.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much. Thank you to everyone on the call today. We will not be having a webinar in December, taking our usual holiday break, but I look forward to seeing some of you in our CELC meetings and back on webinars in January. Katelynn, thank you so much. Wonderful presentation, and everyone have a wonderful and happy and safe Thanksgiving.
Thank you guys so much. Have a great weekend. Take care.
Bye.